And now I'm live on air. Hello. So I have to look up here. Where is my co-host? See if she can figure this out. I wonder if you can delete these after you're done. That would be exciting. That's not it. Nope. Nope. I'm checking on Facebook. Okay, she's not on Facebook. Okay, let's go back over here. Let's go back. What am I doing here? Yes, yes. Hello. What's the link here? I think this must be it. Let's try sending her. Okay. This is the world's worst podcast, but my hair is looking fantastic. Okay. This is extremely exciting. Really, live broadcasting doesn't get any better than this. Tune in, watch somebody type. I have to remember to keep talking because talking is the name of the game. I can spend all day not talking. That's part of the reason I want to do this is I'm practically a hermit. And I will go 4 and 5 hours at a time without ever using my voice. Something I have noticed actually from doing dictation is that speaking is a very different way of talking than writing is. And you'd think that I would have known that because I'm a writer. But it really becomes clear when you do dictation. Now, if you have an iPhone, dictation, I guess it's built into Android too. Anyhow. But what I recommend, I use an app called iTalk on my iPhone, and I start recording when I'm in the car driving, and I'll just talk. And I'll talk a journal entry, or I haven't found it works for writing yet, but generally I do a journal entry or something that I want to. Oh, hey! Yay! So let's see if I can hear you.
Yes, I hope you can hear me.
I'm hearing you out. Well, that's no good. I'm hearing you out of my.
Huh.
Oh, we go up to settings. Ah, there we go. Yeti.
Is that better?
Yeti. No, I have to change my. I wonder if anything's gotten recorded yet. That's interesting.
I can't really say, but you should have something that shows that it's recording.
No. Whether any sound has been recording. I've been talking to myself, but I realized just now that the Hangout settings were set for built-in instead of Yeti. So, so I was babbling to myself about dictation. Anyhow, Hopefully, I have set this to basically private. I think you and I are the only ones who should get this.
The app didn't load?
What?
No.
What
Oh.
didn't load?
I'm just getting an error message. Let's see that. It just put you into full picture. That's fine with me. I don't know which app it was talking about, but
Yeah, I'm gotta say, so far I'm not a fan. There's got to be, well, and this is the easiest way of doing it. So
yeah. And I just don't like wearing these, and I hope you're not getting an echo, because I really hope this microphone is picking up just me. I've
well,
been asking people, so so far it's been sounding good.
yeah, it's I can hear you just fine. I wear headphones all day, so I'm not really worried about the headphones. I guess I should worry if they look dorky. Maybe I should take them
No,
off
they
if
don't.
they
They
look
don't.
dorky.
It's all
Fabulous.
good. I just with my glasses, they hurt me,
Oh,
so I don't wear them,
yeah.
and I just put them in front of me like that, and have the microphone as close to me as I can, and that's how I do my sessions when I do my tapping, as you
Yes.
probably know.
Right.
So
Okay.
this has worked perfectly so far, and I've had very few people that experience an echo, because I get the sound from my speakers.
Right.
But it seems the microphone doesn't even pick that up, so
Yeah. Feedback would probably be bad.
yeah. I mean, I've been really thinking about getting some earplugs and something that has a microphone sort of on
Yeah.
it.
Right. There was. I'll have to look up the recommendation that somebody had for. I think it was Panasonic, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Very nice little in-ear phones.
Yeah, they would kind of hide in my hair, which would be cool.
Okay, so I don't know what you have to do with one of these things, like with music or with. I started watching one video podcast, and I find it much more difficult to do because you have to watch it, and it's hard enough to get me to listen to something. So
What I often do is I actually listen to podcasts and don't watch them. But there are some people who are visual and they love seeing people while they're talking. Plus, we could actually that's part of the stuff you can do.
right.
um, I think it is possible to show to screen share, which means you can show diagrams or PowerPoints while we're
Oh,
doing
okay.
the podcast. I haven't really played with that yet,
Oh,
but
screen share. I
it would
see.
be nice to be able to do that.
I need to remember to turn off everything else on my computer before doing this.
I have tons of stuff open, so.
Yeah, I know. Well, did you hear that little ding? That was me getting a
No,
message. Oh, okay, good.
I didn't hear that. Because you were wearing the headphones and it's not being picked up by the microphone.
Oh, okay. Gotta
That's
say,
the sad thing. If someone messages me on Facebook now, you'll probably hear it.
oh, yes, okay. All right. Okay, so I think I set this for an hour because I've noticed that most podcasts are about 45 minutes to an hour. And I'm having trouble remembering to look up here instead of at the pretty picture.
That's when I do Skype.
Yeah.
I put the picture right below my camera in the upper right-hand corner where I have my camera. So that's when I'm looking at the picture of the person I'm talking to. It is very close to looking at the camera. um, I can't really do that with Google, unfortunately. We can't take the
Yeah.
pictures and show them around, which would be really kind of nice, but it ain't happening.
Yeah. Okay. So, so let's see. So most of these seem to have stupid
records. Most of these podcasts seem to have, let's put that back down, a format, which we haven't discussed. They have music, which we haven't discussed. And I guess just chatting about what people are doing.
Yeah, well, Lindsay usually has sort of a list of questions that she works through.
Right, that's a good idea.
If we have a specific topic in the following ones, like creating interesting characters or finding your writing enthusiasm again, or whatever we're going to talk about, we can structure that and have talk about it, but have sort of like an outline to work with, to have a structure in this whole thing.
Very definitely.
And if we do bring in guests, we can have a list of questions that we're going to ask. We could just prepare them before the podcast.
Right.
Like, I mean, for any interview, you would do that.
Yes. Something I've noticed, and I don't know if this is true, I've noticed this with, there's a couple of people that I listen to who are solo podcasters, and I don't know how they do it. I can't see how their voice doesn't give out after talking for an hour. But as I was saying to myself earlier, I am a hermit, and I can go 4 or 5 hours without uttering a word to anybody, which is they're very repetitive. They say things over and over again. Have you ever noticed, is this how most of them work? Where it's like they're trying to fill up airtime?
I have to be really honest, and I haven't really watched podcasts with just one person. I think that would be kind of boring. And I know my coach, and I know that's also your coach, she can fill an hour with talk, but it's very structured and it's very clear, and she really has, I'm sure she must have tons of notes to go through in order to go through her program. But then she's teaching in those those recordings.
Right.
And she either has a video that she screen captures and explains, or she has a certain lesson she wants to teach, and she has examples, and she moves from point A to whatever. And I think that would be the only way you could do a solo podcast, really, by having an outline, sort of giving you something to work through during the podcast. I would never be able to just chat about something without having it for an hour. And I can talk about lots of things for an hour if I want to, but I mean, I could talk about EFT for an hour.
Yeah, no, that's.
But in order to give the whole thing some value, I would like to have an outline and some major points that I'd like to make. I mean, it's like with every speech, I suppose.
Yeah. No, I know. Knowing that we have a topic. Outline. I'm going to write that down.
You know, I did so many presentations during my university time. That was how most of the seminars were structured.
Right.
We would meet in the first lesson would be basically meeting, and everyone got their little presentation topic.
Right.
And then with luck, we had 2 weeks minimum, but yeah, usually more, to prepare that and to have some material and to present for at least an hour. And I'm so used to doing that. I always did just some outlines and talked with the help of outline, and I'm really used to that. So it's not anything scary.
Okay.
I can do that, but I need an outline.
Okay. No, I'm. That's good. Okay. So what are we at here? Oh, 14 minutes. Okay. Do they have a minute thing on here? I guess they don't. Boy, you'd think they'd really want to.
I don't think they do. I do everything in Windows, and I have a little analog clock in the corner of my screen, so I always know what time it is.
Yes, that's true. I don't. Duh, there's a clock up there. If we start right at 9. I also don't understand how, like, currently this is attached to my account.
Yes.
I have the feeling we wouldn't want to do that, right?
I think that's okay. It might be possible that you can make me a co presenter,
Okay.
which will give me possibly maybe some more settings. I don't know.
Right. Well, let's see. Let's 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 see about that. Okay. So control room. That's exciting. No. Nope. That's for ejecting bad actors, and so far you're behaving yourself, so that's cool. Recommended app, draw. Ooh, so I can draw?
Yes.
Wee! Wee! I'm 2 years old. Okay, how do I get rid of that now? That's cool.
It probably
Okay,
has a
good.
message.
Go away, app.
That's very cool. If you do role-playing games, you can start drawing them out. I've done that.
How do I make this go away now? Where did I bring this up? Damn it. Oh, I freaking hate you, Google Hangouts. Oh yeah, that's true. I didn't oh there. Yes, good. Okay. I didn't oh now it's gone altogether. Cool. I didn't plan for like explicit or anything, but I do admit that I sometimes use bad language. I try not to because it sounds very differently than it writes, but sometimes I do.
I do try to not do it either, but sometimes I say something like
I
freaking
went.
war.
My excuse is that I went to an all-girls Catholic high school. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking with it. Is my shoot? I just noticed I'm moving back and forth. Is my voice going in and out?
No.
Okay.
No, you're fine.
All right. Oh, okay. So wait, here's Hannah. Is there some way share controls? Did that change anything for you?
Not really, but
Oh, I invited Frauke. I didn't invite Hannah.
that's the problem, and I
Oh, okay.
I have the password for Hannah memorized because I've been on Google Plus so much in the last couple of days and weeks.
Okay, that's a topic. That is a topic to talk about because Google Plus dismays and frightens me, and I don't understand. I can barely figure out how to use Facebook as a tool. Google Plus, as far as I can tell, the only people who use it are my friends who work at Google. And now that one of my best friends no longer works there, it's like, why do I need to go over to Google Plus? I don't need Google Plus.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, my first social medium is Facebook. It's just the one that I understand. It's where I'm most active, and that's the one that I enter first when I turn on the computer. The next one I go to is Twitter, and I'm learning.
I'm a Twitter girl. I love Twitter.
Yeah, I'm learning to have fun with it, so I really enjoy it. But I do that with Hannah. I don't really do that a whole lot with Frauke.
Okay.
And Google Plus is the third I go to, and the friend just persuaded me to get a Tumblr account. So
my daughter loves Tumblr. My daughter is all over Tumblr. I should have her on as a guest to explain Tumblr from the teenager's point of view, because wow.
Perfect, because I mean that's a whole generation of readers we could possibly potentially reach through Tumblr, and the stupid itch in my nose.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm like, video casting, really?
I really think this is just real life. I'm being authentic.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be awesome to have someone to explain Tumblr. That's
and Wattpad. That's what I want. I want an explanation of Wattpad.
I'm on Wattpad, and I have a story up there, but it's not really doing me a whole lot of good.
Mm-hmm.
I know that Lindsay Worker has been doing really well on Wattpad, and I think she used it as a launching place for some of her series.
Is it especially good for YA? Or does she write YA? I don't know what she writes.
No, she doesn't. She does mostly steampunk, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's
I heard the best description of steampunk recently, which is a writer's idea of a cool environment. Apparently, most people can't sell it to save their lives, but writers sure dig it a whole bunch.
yes, and I have to admit, I've come to enjoy her stories. She has two different series in steampunk worlds, and they look so much alike that I almost thought they were the same.
Oh,
But then I realized no, they're not exactly the same world, but very similar. So basically, I kind of like the environment. I mean, I like the whole idea of machines and possibly fantasy. You can have fantasy. You can have magic and steampunk,
right.
which is rather cool, I think. And you can have machines, and you can have weird stuff, and you can just really go wild in a way that you can't do in let's say classic Tolkien fantasy.
Right.
So I think steampunk is great fun to write. I haven't done it yet, but I totally get why it could be interesting. Um,
There
so
was
so
one,
anyway,
there was
yeah.
one steampunk romance series I started. I don't remember the author's name, but I think after book 2, it was clear that she was just going to drag the romance out.
Yeah,
And I
well.
said, "Yeah, okay, I'm done." These people can't decide that they want to be together. Fabulous.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, it shouldn't be romance then. I really
Yeah.
think. I mean, Lindsay does it in a really smart way. I mean, she has. I think she's writing book 9 right now in the whole series. Um, it was originally supposed to be 6, and the 6th one sort of grew until she had to split it into 2.
Wow.
And then readers demanded more, so she wrote another one, and readers demanded more, so now she wrote another one. But the first 6, sort of 7, they are a unit.
Oh wow. Oh
And
wow.
they're basically adventures. The team she's building there, the team solves riddles, mysteries, and they do get solved at the end of each book. And she has a romance that's building through all 7 books very gradually. And
Oh
I
okay.
love that. That is
Yeah.
really, she's done that really well. It really keeps sort of this undertone of of romantic interest alive, and it's
Right.
growing just a little in every book. And I love that. She's done that really well, and it's fun to read. It has the adventure plus the little love interest
Yeah.
going through it, and she resolves that very nicely. I must say that's one of my favorite scenes.
Okay.
They
Um,
finally get each other, and they end up in the bedroom together, and she's done that. I think, I mean, I have a bit of a problem with all those sex scenes, and she doesn't do them in
right.
that series. Yeah, and that's the only sex scene, and it's definitely not one of those classic descriptive ones.
Right. No, that's fine.
So I love how she did that. So you could probably call that even young adult, because
Okay.
it has adventure.
Right.
It has one character that is a teenager and who is mostly trouble.
Some teenagers are extremely well behaved. I would just like to point that out for the record.
Yes.
Um, okay.
Yeah. She does have a well adjusted teenager in there as well. The Emperor himself. It's called Emperor's Edge, so.
Well, that works out quite nicely, at least for the Empire. Um, okay.
Yeah, well, this is a spoiler. He doesn't stay the Emperor in the end.
Well, what would be the fun of that?
But yeah, it's a bit of a role model for me, because I can really study how she created a series, how she's marketing her series. She
Mm-hmm.
has 3 or 4 series on the market.
Right.
She really has turned them into product funnels. And I love how she connects with people on Twitter and Facebook, mostly on Twitter,
Okay.
and talking about the stories, sharing some blooper reels, and really interacting with her readers. It's awesome to see how she does that. And so I like that on 2 levels. I like it because I'm a reader who enjoys her stories,
Right.
and I like it in order to learn marketing from her.
Right.
Just watching what she's doing. So I'm
Yeah,
not saying I'm going to copy her, but
No, I honestly don't think that even if 2 people are writing the exact same thing, that they can copy one another. I firmly believe, certainly as Christine has been known to say, but and you're going to be wondering who this Christine person is that we talk about. We'll get to that one week. That the voice always comes through. You're gonna do things the way you do things.
and I think it's
You write about what you gotta write about.
Totally. I mean, like the last nano effort. I was thinking, oh well, shades of gray and whatever, and I want to do something that's better, and so I decided I'm going to write about a naive literary author who has just gotten his first novel published, and he's abducted by an alien princess, and they travel through the solar system, and they have this weird love affair, and it's and I couldn't do the sex. I just couldn't. They did it. The story got away from me. And they're really sweet, and they're excited, and it's love. Yes, there's a love interest, but it's like they figure out that the artificial intelligence running the ship is actually their enemy, so they have to outsmart an AI.
Yeah, the plot took over.
The plot took over. The characters took over.
I am always having that trouble in stories. It's like, wait, they can't stop and have sex. Please, they're running for their lives. I mean, I started writing this side project just as kind of a fun little thing, which we will discuss some week. And I was like, how am I supposed to stick romance in here? They're fighting for their lives. Who has time to, like... Sure, you can be attracted to someone, but let's focus on the important parts, people. Come on, focus.
Let's get out of the trap first before we get the hay.
Right.
Yeah, I mean...
Well, whenever people say, oh, that, 2 things are exactly alike, I like to think of the story of a friend and I were taking a walk one day. We were up in Seattle, and she told me about a story she'd read in the paper about a woman opened a suitcase that they were going on a trip, and she put her hand in a side pocket in the suitcase, and she found a ring, that her wedding ring that she had lost like 5 years before, and there it was. And so this whole romantic comedy had occurred to my friend based on this story. By the time she had finished the anecdote, I had a whole murder mystery thing going on where clearly the husband had a double life. I'm like, you can't help what you write about. You can't help how you see things. It just is.
It's like I had this friend, and he was saying yes, and you need to do the bondage stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I can see that. And then when I started writing the whole thing, it just didn't fit. It didn't happen.
I haven't read a lot of that stuff, but what I have read of it, I'm like, are you guys trying to sell me on this lifestyle? Because you're really doing a poor job of it. You mostly make it sound like pain, and not just like a really loathsome part of your life. I mean, you're not getting anything out of this. And the one thing that I keep hearing from people is you absolutely have to trust the other person you're doing this with, and there's no trust between these characters. I'm like,
yeah,
no.
So, so that was a nice attempt trying to write for the market and failing miserably.
You gotta write what you gotta write.
Yeah, and I'm just like, that was an experience, and I'm just going to trust my writing intuition. I'm going to trust my characters. I'm going to trust the plot.
Yeah.
Basically, the plot reveals itself to me. I usually kind of know where I'm starting. I usually know where it's going to end, unless, like with the space thing, it all developed in the first 50 pages.
That's
And
funny.
I can tell it's going to be probably 2, 3 novellas, really. I don't know why I'm suddenly with the novella size, but I used to write novels, long novels. But right now it's novella size, and I'm happy with that. They sell.
Yeah.
So
Well,
novella
they're
size it's going to be.
most of my ideas come to me as novels, but a couple of times I've written novellas, and man, those go really fast. I enjoy the novella size because I can
It's
write them really quickly.
And you can really focus on one string of plot. It's not as
Right.
if you have to develop 2 or 3 subplots that sort of squeeze into each other. With a novella, you can just go and focus on your main character and just go for it. And you can wind it up within those 25,000, 30,000 K, well, 30,000 words.
Right.
And I've heard that people really like those quick reads. They don't really like to remember 10 different names and figure out in the third book that the name mentioned in the first book was getting important in the end.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so
Have to
those
keep
those epic
bringing
things,
stuff back. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
but certainly write what is true to yourself. I
Yeah.
mean, it really is. I have this perfect murder weapon, and I never managed to write a mystery with it because I don't have the structured mind to create all these red herrings and different angles, and I admire mystery writers who can get all of that straight.
Well, I write mysteries. I'm
Mm.
pretty sure I get it straight, but
So
no
it's so
promises.
nice, yes.
Um, no, it's funny because who was I discussing this with? I don't remember, but they're like, "Oh, you probably come up with all these cool ways of killing someone," and I'm like, "No, that's not really the part that interests me. The part that interests me is why would one person kill another person? You know, what has to have happened to have brought them to that point?
Yes.
Um, you know, there's a million ways of killing somebody.
Yeah, I mean, yes. But then there has to be a motivation, and
Yeah.
that takes me to my other life passion, which is understanding humans and
Yeah.
helping them shift their mindset.
That and I figure that if I keep at this long enough, I'll understand humans any year now. Could happen at any moment. Or,
I
or, or, or as my therapist says, guaranteed lifetime employment. He doesn't worry about ever not being able to pay the bills.
Well, I come at it from another angle when I coach. I mean, I help people shift their mindset so they can, well, refrain from murdering someone. No, I haven't had clients like that at all. But just so they can start looking for solutions rather than see problems, so they
That would
can
be a good topic. Therapy versus coaching. When do you need which one?
yes.
Write that one down.
Well, I think there's no clear-cut border between the two. I mean, they're borders defined by law, but they're not really borders
Right.
defined by what people need. I would, yeah, let's take that into a different topic. But
Okay.
um, I really, really like to see how people think and how that thinking has been shaped by experiences, by how they grew up, by how their family works, by how the background is in the society, but also with I mean, there's this whole family energy, which is kind of rather mystical, but I've seen it happen and I've seen it at work. So
Mhm.
so a person is not only influenced by what he or she learns in his or her own life, but also by what has affected the family.
Mhm.
So that like you don't just inherit your genes, you also inherit a lot of
The life
habits,
stories.
thought patterns, life stories,
Yep.
trauma.
It took me years to understand that, yes, in fact, I was living out my mother's traumatic upbringing in Depression-era Ireland. And
Yeah.
it's, you're not living there, Diane. You don't have to keep living like that. But it took me a very long time to understand that.
Yeah. And I love the EFT tapping that I do because it can absolutely release that kind of energy. It's a fast way of helping people shift out of that kind of energy and
Right.
really come into their own and stand in their own life and power. That is absolutely fascinating. And I mean, everyone needs it, but I also think there's always something that drives authors to actually write, to put their thoughts into words onto paper.
Right.
And I don't know what that drive is, but I think it has to do with something that needs to be written out.
Mm-hmm.
It could be pain, it could be just the wild imagination, it could be,
Right.
I mean, for about 5 or 6 years after I really started writing a whole lot, yeah, about that time I started doing my coaching training, and we looked at relationships and families and all that, and it suddenly struck me that in all the stories I've written, I either killed the mother or never had it there. I mean, I was writing stories without mothers.
Right.
It was really funny. I mean, my characters were mainly orphans or half orphans.
Right.
And then then I took the time to really work on my relationship with my mother, which was a little difficult. And then I realized I was starting to put mothers into my stories, which was really kind of funny to see.
Oh, wow.
So there's certainly there is a connection between your own life and the stories that you write.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason that for all of their weird messages, fairy tales have stayed with us for so long.
Oh, absolutely.
There are some absolute life metaphors in there that really speak to us today.
And we repeat those stories in our own fashion, I believe. I mean, I need to look that up, but someone said there's only like 5 different plots ever.
Yeah. Well, somebody else, because how else are you going to sell somebody on your weekend seminar for $4.99 if you order now? Was that there are 2 plots. There's ghost stories and what was it? Ghost stories and murder mysteries, I think. In ghost stories, something happened, and whatever it was is going to come back to haunt you. And in murder mysteries, somebody does something and is trying to hide it. I will have to look this up. But basically, all stories, like in a love story, these people want to get together, but there's something in the past that's keeping them from, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's oversimplification, but that is what's needed if you want to really sell things and tell people it's possible to
Right.
create your plot within 5 hours.
Yeah.
Write your bestseller in a weekend.
Oh my God, there are so many. Wow. There's somebody who I think it's a she. I don't know. She is trying to remain anonymous, but she has made quite a splash on the keyboards. She's doing very well for herself. Evidently has a number of series, and she will outline several books in a day and a half.
Whoops.
Yeah, and she outline, and then she sits down and she's writing a book every 2 weeks, and apparently they sell very well, and I've got to buy one to find out how it is, but the people who've read them say that they're quite enjoyable, and God knows I have picked up enough books recently that make me want to have a sit down with the author and say, there are other things you could be doing with your time. But this chick, if it is a chick, is all about outlining, and that would be an interesting topic for discussion, because
Outlining would be very interesting.
I desperately want to be an outliner, a plotter. To me,
Yeah.
that works. I just have never written an outline that I've stuck to. I mean, there was one outline I worked out, and I was like, this is going to be so good, and I know the giant sequence in the middle, everything. And when I finished the book, I said, that giant sequence in the middle, yeah, that's got to go. 15,000 words. And I'm like, okay, now I have to rethink how we get all of the information that she was going to get in that sequence. And maybe there's a way of working out the outline ahead of time where those major kind of hurdles, I mean, everyone says that their outline, I use words for a living, that their outline shifts and changes as time goes on, but yeah, that would be interesting.
Well, I'm pretty much a complete pantser, and I'm trying to create a middle path where I have a vague outline, kind of like I know the beginning, I know some of the middle, I know the end mostly. Sometimes the end changes, but
Right.
usually I kind of know the ending, and I fill in the rest when I go. And that is not an easy path because I get blocked really often, and I need to really work on thinking myself out of corners that I've written myself in.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I wish I could be a planner and a
Oh,
plotter.
there you are.
And I really tried hard to
Nope. Now you're
plot.
just. Oh, there you go.
Oh, I can still hear you, so, and I can still see you. You just froze
Your video had stopped and then it caught up in a hurry. It was kind of funny. It was like you were on fast forward. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I did once, I was going to write this big social critical novel about work and abuse and exploitation and all that. And I created a world where there was an underwater town that was basically a production factory with, people couldn't even get out if they wanted. And I was going to put this person in there, and I really plotted it out to about 20 chapters, and I never managed to write it. I thought it was so boring because I already knew where it was going. I couldn't write the darn thing.
Wow.
So it lives in my database somewhere. That's probably where it'll stay.
Well, I like the idea that there is a story there, because I have abandoned way too many things. And I actually get excited when it's like, okay, the scene where, they leap off the tower and have to land on the mattress. Like, okay, now I get to write that.
Yes.
There's got to be a better way. Especially, I have a screenwriting background, and you have to outline for screenwriting. There's no pantsing. There's no pantsing in screenwriting, people.
I totally get that.
Yeah, maybe the first draft that you do for yourself, but man, does no one ever see that draft. And I'm currently, when I write a book, I write about 1.5x, meaning if the book is 100,000 words, I'm writing 150,000 words to get that book. I would really like to get that down because it takes a lot longer to write 150,000 words than it does to write 110,000. It's better. I used to be 2x. So, but yeah, writing an outline ahead of time would really help out with that.
I really think there's a middle way. At least for me, there's a middle way. What I do is, and I do that in the same file that I write. I still write in a simple Word. Well, I write in LibreOffice because I can have a LibreOffice portable with me and write in different places. And I just have this little kind of cute little USB thing, and I have LibreOffice on there, and I can plug it into any kind of computer and write. So what I do is I have my file with all the text on it, and then I have my plot points just at the bottom of the whole file. And once I work out one scene, I delete it from my plot area, so the plot points get less and less and less as I fill out the story. But that really helps me to stay on track and to keep track of these idea flashes that I get. Oh, maybe I should send her away to throw a spanner into their love interest story. And here's how I can do that. So yeah, I kind of put those ideas in there. So I have a really rough plot, and I used to write all over the place, but I've grown into usually writing from the beginning to the end.
Mm-hmm.
When I started out, I used to write just those scenes that I had in my head, and then I needed to fill in the in between stuff. That was kind of hard at times. But
you never want to write the boring stuff. That's the stuff you want to leave out.
Yeah, I think you should leave it out.
Yes. Well, there were times where I'm like, how do I get them from point A to point B? And then one day I said, you know what? Just have them show up at point B. Let the audience figure out how they get there.
Yes, I mean, leave out the boring stuff. Absolutely.
Right.
And I hate it when I read books where people spend an entire chapter just traveling. It's just absolutely boring because nothing happens.
Wasn't that like all of Robert Jordan's last several books? My husband finally stopped buying those books because he's like, enough already.
I keep mixing up Robert Jordan and Game of Thrones, and I'm probably really bad about that. I think I started reading Robert Jones, Wheel of Time. Is that
Yes, Robert
and
Jordan.
Robert Jordan, and I read the first chapter, and I thought, no, this is not grabbing me in the slightest. I'm not even going to start into that series. So I gave the story back to my friend who had lent it to me, and I said, no, I'm not going to read this. I just don't want to feel. I just don't feel like I want to. And I haven't started on Game of Thrones either, because
my husband gave up on that series because he's like, screw it, this guy, enough. He's just playing with us now.
Yeah.
You know, above and beyond the dead people. I will say there are many things that annoy. What the? Oh, don't. Things are falling apart. There are many things that annoy me about the series. The whole sexposition thing, just I checked out in season 1 because I said, okay, I see what these guys are doing. But I will say that I really admire that show's and that story's commitment to its theme,
Yes.
which is you either take it all or you die. So I have the feeling that there's going to be a lot of people dying over the next 2 seasons, and the fans are going to get very upset.
I think my sister is reading it, and she told me a couple of things about it that kept her interested.
Yeah.
And the title is apt. I mean, it's a game. It's a Game of Thrones.
Yep.
But
You win or you die.
What I gathered. But I really think I'm not sure if people really want to read that kind of story. I think a lot more people are enjoying the movies or the series rather than actually grabbing the books. I mean, they're thick, fat books, and reading them. I mean, you could read them on an e-reader, then they wouldn't be thick books. But I have a feeling a lot more people are watching the series and enjoying that.
Right.
I know a lot more people enjoyed the Lord of the Rings movies
than actually read the books.
I've got the standard German edition here that everyone had when I was 15.
Yeah.
And I read.
How many books is that? A whole wall of books.
Yeah, well, that's most of my books.
No. It's just because translating stuff into German, usually the book gets a lot fatter. So I'm trying to imagine, like, Lord of the Rings, it probably looks like, a legal office.
I will show that to you.
Yay, visual aids!
It's a little box set.
Oh.
This is the box set. It is.
Oh, that's not that bad.
It's broken because you can't really get them out here. It is 3 books.
Oh.
So, I can see them. And, well, it is small print.
And
And
thin
I have
paper?
to, yeah, fairly thin paper. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't particularly care for the most recent translation. Someone translated it again, and the consensus in the fantasy community was it was rather flippant and not true to the work. So I
Mm-hmm.
never bought the most recent
Yeah.
edition. But this is what everyone read when I was 15, 16, 17. People just read it. And I have to admit, I don't think Tolkien is a really good author.
Right.
Because he does get completely lost in descriptions. There's stuff in those books that doesn't do a thing for the story.
And a lot of it got lost on the way to the movie adaptation.
In the movie, I mean, they totally cut that out. They cut out
Yeah.
Tom Bombadil.
Yeah.
I mean, they put a bit of that in the extended versions, and I bought the extended versions. But um, I think it made the story much more accessible to many people.
Right.
I'm not that happy about the. My favorite part is the first one, and I'm not really that happy about all these action scenes and massive hordes of armies and fighting and all that. It's not that is not my. I really like the focus on the people they had in the first movie, the Fellowship of the Ring.
Right.
That was the deeper part. I think in the end it sort of degrades into massive scenes and horns and things, but that's Peter Jackson, so.
Yeah. Um,
But yeah, movies work differently than the written word.
yeah. Okay.
Have you ever tried writing a storyboard for one of your novels?
No. No, I haven't. Actually, have you?
I've done storyboards because I had animation in my high school year. I had a
Uh-huh.
half a year of animation classes, and I wrote 2 to 3 storyboards. Because our teacher made us do storyboards. I mean, first write up a little text, and then create a storyboard from it, with the scenes and stuff. So I did that, but I've never done one for a novel either. It might actually help to do that, to just kind of work out the scenes and how they function, and to move them around to create a different set of tension.
There's a great series of posts by Sean Coyne, who works with Stephen Pressfield, called
Mm-hmm.
The Story Grid, which I will
Yes.
put on the list of things to talk about. Brilliant way of like analyzing a not necessarily with storyboards, but like how to look at the various scenes in your book and the flow
Ah,
and what
yeah.
the bigger picture. Um, I will have
And
to
I do have
look at that.
Save the Cat somewhere.
Oh God, the book that has destroyed Hollywood.
Is it? Is it
Yes, it
hated
has.
by screenwriters?
Because everyone loves, and God knows I have. I mean, I went to USC Film School. Everyone wants a prescriptive way of creating a story.
Yes.
Uh, and often they mistake, and here we are talking about outlines, they mistake the map for the actual journey.
Ah,
Save the Cat
yes.
is so prescriptive that people are like, great, now I know how to put everything together. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
no, you know this one map. So, everyone is looking for what's your initial image? It must be thematic for the rest of, oh, when does such and so happen? When does such and so happen? And it's like,
Okay.
so many, if we ever have a screenwriter on, they're just pissed off. They're just really, Save the
I
Cat
mean,
is very much a
what it
prescription.
did, it gave me a lot of ideas, but then I'm this kind of person, I read this and I think, yeah, it's a nice idea to have this track, but I can never follow that kind of thing anyway. So
Yeah.
so I always take from books what I like, and I kind of like the way he talked about tension. I mean, I have a couple. I've only recently started reading writing books because I thought I want to keep my intuition intact. I want to keep my inner knowledge, and I believe I have. That sounds really conceited, but I believe I have this inner knowledge of how to tell stories. I think it is a very human thing. We basically know how to tell stories.
Right.
And I didn't want to smother that with writing advice. So I stayed away from any kind of writing advice, any kind of writing book while I was finding my voice, while I was writing my first, I don't know, 5, 6 novels.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are finished, some aren't.
I wish more
And
people would do that.
and I really consciously avoided any writing advice. I decided that I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to pretzel myself into anything that one author said. I haven't written Stephen King's own writing.
We can do a whole show about Stephen King. I used to be Stephen King's biggest fan, and then I didn't read him for a number of years.
Yeah.
And recently, in the past month, I read one of his most recent books.
Mm-hmm.
Oh dear. We can go into that.
Yeah.
Also, for all of his books that I absolutely loved, that man cannot write a third act to save his life. He cannot. Sorry, I'm just speaking truth. He cannot. You have The Stand. You have Las Vegas exploding with a nuclear bomb. And then you have 200 more pages. What? You just exploded. No, you don't get 200 more pages after a nuclear blast. I'm sorry. But I'll put that on the topic list.
Yes.
Okay, it has been an hour. In fact, I need to run off to my next Google Hangout.
Yes.
Because that's what I do. I do Google Hangouts. Okay, so with this, I will see what it takes to upload things and figure out RSS feeds and stuff, and then we can, I don't know, I guess with a Google Doc or something, we can work on an outline for a couple of episodes.
Yeah.
And then figure out another time to record.
Yes, and I mean, I had fun.
Yeah.
I think this is just going to be a trial one. We may not even make it public, but
Yeah. Currently, it's just us. Currently, it's just us, not public.
And we'll just see how it goes because I think this is cool.
Yeah.
And we had fun, and
and we can keep talking for an hour.
Easily, can
Yes.
we?
Yeah.
And I have props.
Again, you do. Yes. Yay! I'm going to start making a list of props to have. Well, that's the thing. When I say that I can go 4 and 5 hours during the day without speaking a word, I am not, in fact, exaggerating. I am usually just home by myself, staring at a monitor. So.
Same here. Same here. So I'm glad when I can talk.
Okay, so I will see what it takes to put this together, and and start up some Google Docs, and I will let you know.
Perfect.
All right.
Perfect.
I will.
And we talk about next subject and create an outline, and then we'll.
Yes, we might have to do another intro session, like to tell the audience who we are. Hello.
Hey, it's all good.
Yes. Okay, so now I'm going to stop the broadcast, and I will drop you a note. Ciao.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.